Hello, my friends. I'm Coach Manny Rodriguez with Eads Cold Cleaning Franchising. As you know, we have been bringing guests on for you to know who should I know in the service arena that we may need. My friends, it is scalding hot out there. Are you prepared? Is your HVAC prepared? I brought on a true expert in the industry, and let me share with you a little about Stay Cool. This is Jeremy Wolfe. He is the owner with his family. I think you're the main owner for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And this guy is full of knowledge. And I want to even go a little further and tell you about their Google reviews. Let's be real. A 5.0 is almost impossible to keep as you get a lot more reviews, right? You got people that say stuff and whatever. But if you check out Stay Cool Climate Controls Google reviews, they are a 5.0. It's not 40 reviews. It's not 100 reviews. My friends, it's almost 700 reviews and all 5.0. You're obviously doing something right. Jeremy, this is Jeremy. This guy is well known in the HVAC community and as an entrepreneur because he is really setting the world on fire. But Jeremy, share a little about what you do and who you are.
Okay. My name is Jeremy Wolfe. I'm the owner of Stay Cool Climate Control. We're a residentially focused HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning company out of St. Charles, Missouri. We started the business. We officially launched it actually the same day they announced the stay-at-home order and COVID is when we launched the business. Some of you know if you follow us, we give away free tacos, and that is our referral program in order to give back to our customers as well as the community. Like I said, we started in COVID, so restaurants were struggling, they were having a hard time in business. So we're like, what can we do in order to help those businesses, but also give back to our customers? So when you refer a new customer to us, we send you a $25 gift certificate for free tacos, and that goes directly to the person who referred us. And then usually it's a family owned and operated local Mexican restaurant, and that's where the free tacos come from.
So you have partnerships with different Mexican restaurants or
I wouldn't really call them partnerships. We just try to support people in the area. We've tried to do a couple different things, just helping out. But yeah, we just go around to local companies and buy a bunch of gift cards, basically.
that's phenomenal. Now, why tacos?
So the tacos was really random, but to be completely honest, it's my favorite food. And I went to Crossroads Elementary School in Wing Haven, and they always had macho nachos, and that was my favorite food. So it kind of grew from nachos to tacos, and that's where we landed.
Well, I know what my wife's gonna want to eat now because she's probably drooling over there. She loves Mexican food.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do, and we haven't had any people that are like, "Oh, we hate tacos."
No, for sure. But the main reason we wanted Jeremy to come on here is because it is very hot out there. And a lot of us, especially me, my wife will be the first to tell you, like, I don't always know how to stay on top of these, especially the HVAC stuff. Can you dive a little of the importance of staying on top of the HVAC?
Yeah, so I'll kind of walk you through on a general, we'll call it like an air conditioner maintenance and tune-up slash inspection. And I'll go over some of the stuff we go over in the field. Our technicians do dive pretty deep into it. We do a 32-point inspection with pictures, with checklists and all that. But again, I'll kind of walk you from the thermostat, the inside unit, the outside unit, and we can go over a few of those
Nice.
things right now.
Well, in that case, let's go ahead and get started. There's a thermostat. You can start right there.
Perfect. So, one of the things that I always do to help me remember what temperature it's at is I go down 5 degrees when I enter the home. So, right now they have it set on 76. I'm going to go ahead and crank it down to 71, and that's going to ensure that the system doesn't shut off on me and I can check everything I need to during the inspection and tune up. And then, one thing I can always say, like homeowners, you can just get a digital thermometer, about $20 on Amazon. And one tip, your air conditioning system should be coming out of the vents that are blowing the air about 20 degrees lower than the set point. So right now they have it set on 76. If we were to take this thermometer and put it in the vent, it should be coming out around 56 degrees, about 20 degrees lower than it is in the home.
Awesome. And maybe wherever else you're in charge, you
Yeah,
lead.
okay. So yeah, we'll go downstairs and kind of dark. They're not very much space, but we're used to working with that. So with this system, they have all the ductwork sealed up nice and tight. So I'm gonna look, oh look, there's actually a perfect hole for my thermometer right there. So if you were a homeowner, again, I would put that in the vent upstairs. You don't really need to get it directly into the system. But as that starts doing its thing, I'm gonna kind of start checking for code violations. We're gonna make sure the drains are good to go. We're gonna make sure the filter's good to go and a few other things. So the air conditioning drain, this is going to be one of the more important things in air conditioning season because it's removing all the moisture from your home. And I always tell people the filter is kind of the first line of defense against indoor air quality. Anything that makes it
Thing that
past
makes
the
it past the
filter is
filter
going to get
is going to
stuck
get
in your
stuck in your
evaporator
evaporator
coil. It's in the
coil. It's
shape
in the
of an
shape of an
egg,
egg,
and it's
and it's
similar to
similar
like
to
a
like a
radiator on your
radiator on your
car. It's
car.
made of
It's
just
made of just
aluminum
aluminum
fins.
fins.
Whatever makes it
Whatever makes
past
it
that
past
filter
that
is going to
filter
get
is going to
stuck
get
in that
stuck in that
coil.
coil.
And
And
I
I
kind of
kind
tell
of tell
people
people,
you can think of the
the
coil
coil
almost like
almost
your
like your
nose,
nose,
like your
like your
nostrils.
nostrils.
Your nostrils take all the dirt, debris in the air, and they filter it out. What comes out is snot. So if you think of the air conditioning system the same way, whatever makes it past your filter is going to gunk up this drain line with essentially like snot, so to speak. And that's why it's important every year to have this blown out or sucked out. And again, I'm just kind of talking about it today. We're not actually going to do the full test on inspection and cleaning and everything, but I wanted to give some tips for homeowners. So if you have a drain like this, sometimes there's an access point up here where you can blow into the drain system. Sometimes if it's open on one end, you can suck out of it. This one's a little bit tight, so we don't want to pull on that and break it. The one thing I will point out, they have a humidifier right here, and you can see the drain line starting to get pretty calcified, calcium buildup in there. I would probably recommend replacing that at some point. And then we really don't want there to be a trap in this drain right there, so they may need a clamp in order to help that drain slope towards the other drain that it's tied into. Um, and like I said before, you're always going to want to check the air filter. The system's running right now, so I don't want to pull it out because it's a little bit harder while it's running to check it. This is a nice wide media filter, so it probably doesn't have to be changed as much as like a 1-inch filter. But on a 1-inch filter, I recommend at least looking at it every month to 3 months. Anytime that filter starts to get really dirty, essentially, you need to change it. The filter is going to be one of the most important parts because it's what determines the airflow for the system. If the system's not getting enough air, it's not going to breathe properly and it's not going to work properly. So the filter is very, very important to check that all the time. Um, During our regular tune-up and inspection, we're going to take these door panels off. We're going to make sure the blower is moving proper amounts of air, make sure the blower motor is clean. Again, your filter is your first line of defense, so anything that makes it past that filter, if it's sticking to the blower motor, you're essentially all your air through your home is getting that dust, the debris, whatever's in that blower, the air is moving through there. So if your blower is not clean, your air isn't as clean as it can be. We're going to check the flue pipes. Even though it's not heating season, we still have to make sure everything's to code. The flue pipes should all have 3 screws in them. Actually, this one's missing a screw, so I would recommend adding a screw to this pipe. And then another thing I noticed on their water heater, this is an aluminum pipe. I just know that from experience. If you're not experienced, you can take a magnet, and if it does not stick to the flue pipe, then it needs to be replaced with a stainless steel pipe like this is. And again, you can just take a magnet, stick it to that pipe, and if it's not magnetic, then it's not to code for the flue rating. It looks like another thing, again, even though we're not here for the furnace, we do have to look at code violations and make sure everything's safe. Going to the water heater, we have a gas shutoff and a gas union. That's all to code. It has the drip leg right here, a sediment trap, and then it also has a shutoff, but I'm gonna assume that the union is inside the furnace, which Whenever this furnace was installed, it could have been to code, but nowadays that is not to code, because if the gas union leaks inside the furnace and then there's ignition, that's not good for anyone. So the union actually is supposed to be outside of the furnace cabinet. Again, that's going to be something we recommend changing to the homeowner, because whenever they go to sell the home, or again, if there's an issue with the union leaking, hopefully there's not an issue, but if there were, it's going to create problems, and we don't want those problems. So we're going to try to do what we can to prevent them. And that's kind of where the preventative maintenance plays a big factor. We're going to come in and we're going to recommend things that are going to make the system last longer. We're going to make the system work better. And it's not like the system isn't working right now, but it could potentially be working better. So at this point, I can look back at the thermometer I put in the vent, and we're coming out at 54 degrees. Again, it was 76 upstairs, so that's about 22 degrees difference. So that tells me, just a rule of thumb, their system is working properly. I probably don't need to hook my refrigerant gauges up to it. I don't like hooking refrigerant gauges up to systems unless they're showing signs of an issue with cooling. So if this would have read a 12-degree difference or a 14-degree difference, then I would definitely want to investigate more and figure out why it's not working. So kind of just to sum up the things on the inside, we want to check the drain, we want to check the filters, we want to check the airflow of the system, we want to make sure the airflow's set properly, we want to make sure everything's to code and it's just working in unison. The air conditioner unit itself is outside, but it does use parts and pieces of the inside equipment. It all has to be tied in and work together. So if one thing's not 100%, the system may not be working 100%. And then we can probably go outside and go over a few things that we're going to check out there. Then she did instruct me to shut this door, so I'll shut this right behind you so the cat doesn't get out. Don't want to lose any animals. We love animals at Stay Cool. I can grab the door. All right. So typically the air conditioning units are going to be on the side or the back of the house. Um, this one is covered a bit by some trees. Oh, wow. Okay. So you can see the unit back there kind of, we'll probably have to maybe go around a little bit, but we actually made a video on our TikTok a little earlier this week about this. All the trees, the shrubs, the branches and whatnot, we want to see at least a foot of clearance on all four sides of that unit, because if it doesn't have proper clearance, it can't breathe. And the outdoor unit's job is to basically reject the heat from the inside. So if it doesn't have clear air path, it's going to have a hard time cooling itself down. You think we can get back there? Yeah, we'll go this way. So we'll come around here. It is making a bit of a rattling noise. We definitely never like that. I don't have any wrenches on me right now, but again, from experience, if I put my hand on this unit, the rattling goes away. So that tells me one of these bolts on the top, one of the bolts or one of the screws is loose. Take my hand off, it's rattling again. I might be able to take my, I got a 7-in-1 in my pocket, but I don't know if it's the right size. Let's see what it does if we just tighten up a couple of these a little bit. Mm, that might not do much. Mm, this one's not wanting to cooperate. So like I said, on a normal call, we would definitely want to try to get this noise going away, tighten this up a bit. And then on this unit, they actually have a cover on it. So the cover's not bad as long as you keep up on your maintenance. You got to make sure this is clean, because if that gets dirty, then the unit's not going to be able to breathe. Again, that is very important. The outdoor unit's job is to reject the heat outside, but if it's too hot, then it can't reject the heat. So behind this cover, it has hail guards on the unit. And then if we look like up into the unit, you can actually see this unit is very clean on the inside, but most homeowners, they don't look into the hail guards. They kind of just look at the hail guards themselves. And whenever you're looking at the unit itself, it may look clean, but you need to try to look behind the hail guards and really ensure that there's nothing sticking to the coils that's going to prevent air from moving properly. Um, they do have a little bit of torn insulation over here. We would definitely want to get this addressed. It's not the end of the world, but it can prevent or cause some issues with condensation. And they have locking caps on this unit, which is really good. No one can steal their refrigerant without having the proper tool. So during the normal inspection and tune-up, we're going to take all 4 side panels off, take the top off. We're actually going to clean this air conditioning unit from the inside out, make sure all the sides are clear of debris, the unit can breathe. And then again, we would instruct the homeowner to trim back these bushes, trees, shrubs within a foot of the unit so they're not trying to grow inside of it and preventing it from breathing. We can do that ourselves sometimes, but sometimes the homeowners just want to take care of the bushes because that's more of an appearance and aesthetic thing than more the performance of the AC. Typically, we would power it off, open this panel up. We're going to see all your electrical components. If those components have any charring, burnt spots, the wires are starting to get corroded, we're going to recommend replacing that wiring, addressing the electrical issues. We're going to check the contactor. That's like a high voltage switch. We're going to check the capacitors. We're going to make sure the fan motor's spinning freely. I like to put my hand right over the fan motor, make sure it's not overheating. Typically, when a fan motor goes out, it's gonna burn you to the touch. That's kind of how we can tell, other than like the amp draw and electrical ratings on motors. But when you have experience, you can do some other things that don't really require tools because you've seen it so much. I would say for the average homeowner, making sure this unit is clean, making sure the filter's clean on the inside, and making sure the drain's clear. Those are like your number 3 most important air conditioning tips I can give you, because that's going to ensure that it doesn't have any nuisance calls. There's no overheating, excess energy bills. And really, we just want to make sure this equipment lasts as long as possible. They're very expensive investments these days. During COVID, the price of air conditioning systems has pretty much skyrocketed. So you want to spend your money wisely. You want to protect your investment. You want to have it cleaned annually. If we don't come out and clean it, we recommend maybe you clean it yourself. Either way, it just has to be cleaned. If it's not cleaned, it will overheat. It will use more energy, and it will not like its life because it's overheating. But that's pretty much all I have for right now. I don't want to get too into the weeds, but on our normal inspections, like I said, we do about 32 different checks. We have pictures, we have checklists, and we're going to have a bunch of different recommendations for the homeowner to do to their system in order to make it last as long as possible and live a good, healthy, efficient life. We want to make sure they're 100%, not operating at 60, 70%. And again, things like this where that's just a loose bolt, but at some point that bolt could maybe back out, the fan motor falls, and then you have a catastrophic failure that you wouldn't really know about if you didn't have professional maintenance done on the system. So I highly recommend, if you can't do it yourself, hire a professional to come out and protect your investment.
Awesome, Jeremy. One last thing. I did have your website up there, but what number can they call to reach you?
Oh, they can call us at 636-542-8600. and now go straight to our office.
My friends, that is Jeremy Wolfe with Stay Cool Climate Control. And as you can see, very knowledgeable, really knows his stuff, and highly recommend you check him out more. So that is Jeremy with Stay Cool, and this is Manny with Eats Co Cleaning Franchising, and we'll talk to you